Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, March 7th, 2022. We're already in the first week of March. Time is flying, and we need to all be doing things. And tonight, we're going to be on this live stream and talk about some stuff. If you're new to this live stream, I do this on Monday nights at 7 and Thursday afternoons at 3. Hopefully that doesn't change in the future, but we'll see how that goes. I may have something coming up that may affect that. But Monday nights at 7, Thursday nights at 3, or Thursday afternoons at 3. And that is so we can catch our friends in Europe, because they like to take part in this as well. And, they're on the other side of the planet, relatively, and it's hard for them to be here for this live stream. I've had some great interactions with some people this week. I've gotten some I don't know, words of wisdom, some affirmation, whatever kind of wording you want to use there. Really helps. Really helps. There's a lot going on in the world, and really what's going on in here is trivial compared to what's going on in the rest of the world right now. And but it's good that we can get here and just hang out and talk about cars and who knows, maybe food, maybe movies, who knows. But we'll see how it goes tonight. Again, if you're new to this live stream, I have a little reward system. So if we have somebody that brings up a good question and we're able to give a good answer, whether I give it or the people in my chat box on the side over there, they get a bell. Kind of a little, just something I offer up that you can keep. Also, I may give random bells for good comments or, people that just show up. Sometimes we get new people that come in, and it's great to see them and, visualize them on the side over there. I can't actually see them. And at times we get people in here who join my live stream. So I'm open to that. If anybody is interested, they can send me an email. I'll put that up quick. And this is my email at the bottom of the screen. And if somebody is interested in joining the live stream and sharing the screen with me and talking about stuff, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. I appreciate the interactions. Otherwise, I just sit here and I just talk to myself. But I'm glad everybody is here. So let's see who is here right off the bat. First one up is Ray Buckman. Yep, early spring is in the air. 2 weeks ago, we barely broke out of the 20s. Last week, mostly 60s and 70s. This week, back in the freezer. 20 degrees today. Good day, Barry and all. Glad you're here, Ray. I'll give you a bell for being the first one here. That is something else that is going on. Weather, we know, it's going to fluctuate. Today, I think we had a high of 74 degrees. It's currently 58. But it's been raining off and on. It's supposed to rain all the way through Friday. So that's not fun. Saturday, this is kind of dramatic. We've been having lows in the high 40s and 50s, and then highs in the 70s and 60s, whatever. Saturday is supposed to drop down to 28 degrees. That's kind of shocking. Well, Sunday, it's supposed to drop to 24 overnight, and then 33 on Monday, and back up again. So we're going to have a cold snap coming, but I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. We all deal with it. So anyway, let's see who else is here. Steve. Good evening, Barry, from warm, rainy, and windy Bedford County, Pennsylvania. I'm glad you're here, Steve. Terry Keithley. Evening, Barry, and all. It snowed again here in west central Illinois with more Friday. Oh, boy, ugh. Yeah. I don't want it. You can keep it. Rick Gain. Hi, all. A nice 77 in Jersey, but started to rain before I could enjoy a walk. Okay. Rick, awesome, man. Thank you for the sticker. Thank you for that. Appreciate it very, very much. Jerry checking in from the Money Pit in Middle Tennessee. Rainy and 47 degrees, wind blowing 7 to 13 miles per hour. Thank you for that weather. That's really good information. Rainy and 47, wind blowing. That's nice. But even 47 is not bad. Not bad. Troy, hey, all from coastal Georgia, where it was 84 today. I hope everyone is doing good tonight. Wow, 84. That's pretty toasty for March. This early in March, for sure. Rick Stevenson. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here, Rick. Crash Lighter, greetings from windy and 39 degrees southern Indiana. Hang on, as spring is just around the corner. Be sure to hit the like button as it makes Joe Daddy happy. Yes. Thank you for that. Nandu, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. Today was a day to wear shorts. 70 degrees in Pennsylvania. That sounds nice. Robert, evening all. Around freezing and snow pellets this morning in Texas. In the 20s for the low on Friday. Yeah. So we must be just a couple days behind you on the temperatures. Rick Stevenson. Oh, wait a minute. See what? Good to see the basket case in the garage. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. I have something to show you. Hold on. That's right. It's in here. It is in here now. So yes, you're correct, Rick. Yep. And if I can do this and get the camera to go the right way, let me see if I get my little light thing out of the way. Let's just turn the camera. Oh. Get the light. My light's kind of glaring there. What? There's nothing on the lift. Uh-oh. Things are changing. Huh. No car on the lift. Imagine that. Things are changing. Harvey. Hello all. Hello from the crew in New Jersey. Glad you're here, Harvey. Roger. Greetings from next door. Glad you're here, Raj. Simone. Hi, Barry. Hi, chat. Glad you're here. Terry Keithley. Barry, my wife doesn't see a kitty cat poster on your wall. Yeah, there's no kitty cat posters. Sorry. There is a Metallica poster, though. So she could enjoy that. Let's see. Simone. It has been cold, so cold here today. I spent 10 minutes in my garage and had to give up. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Ray Buckman got a little chuckle going, and Ray, you'll be done with the Camaro tomorrow. I wish, but I've got to make some good videos on the Camaro. I've got to make some good videos on this Camaro. I was having I don't even know what year it was that I started putting the basket case in here. I have 2 videos on this car. So basically I'm starting over because I really haven't done anything to the car. I think I cut this quarter panel off. I don't even know. I don't remember. But it's back in here and I'm going to make some nice videos on it. Now, I think, at the time I was doing that, I was working on the black Camaro too. And my channel was starting to show some good numbers and stuff. And of course I took on the convertible project and numbers were doing pretty good with that. And, then the support fell off. I could not continue making videos without material. So, I gave up on that and just have been storing a car for the last 2 years, basically. And so I'm done with that. Yeah, I'm done with that. Give me a bell. Yes. I am done with the other car. Rick says, where did the BP go? It is in another storage facility. It has been moved to another storage facility. So that's about all I can say on that right now. Ed, hope all are doing well. Glad you're here, Ed. Thanks for being here. Ray Buckman, looking forward to the videos. Yes, and yes. This is going to be a tough one. I know that much. It wasn't like the convertible where I started off with just a pile of rust and built a car from pieces, some left over from the original car. This thing being rolled over is different than being a rusted out Hulk. The floor pan is still okay in this car. The rear panel, the drop offs, all this stuff is still good. The firewall is good. And now, I've got to do my analysis, my real analysis, and try to figure out exactly how I'm going to attack this. It's going to be a good project, and like I said, I just plan to do the sheet metal on it at this point. I want to get all the sheet metal on. I do have the interior for this car. I have all the pieces, but I don't know how far I want to take it. Just put it that way. Sheet metal is my goal right now. Crash Rider, hooray for Joe Daddy. The monkey on his back is gone. Well, it's sort of gone. It's sort of gone. It's at another storage facility. But thank you, yes. Dave Conville, good evening, all. Thank you. Glad you're here, Dave. Steve, Footage Factory, what's up, dude? I'm doing good. I hope you are well over there in Scotland. Hope all is well. Terry, congrats, no more hemorrhoids. LOL. Yeah, well, there's still some issues there. There's still some. But you know what the greatest thing is? At this point, I don't walk into my garage and immediately get frustration. I don't walk into my garage and just not want to be in here. And now I can walk in, I see my back wall, I see my signage, I see my Camaro hood, from my 69 Camaro that I had, the hood scoop from the Mach 1 that I had, not that Mach 1 I didn't have, but I have the hood scoop. And I can just go, look at that. I do have a life. I can do other things, So one way or another, the Camaro is getting worked on. Derek, hi Barry, everyone. Quick hit. Hi to you guys. Love the Camaro. Should be done next week. Yeah, I don't want to get it done that fast. I've got to make videos. People want to see this stuff happen, so I've got to make some videos. Let me pull this. So where's it at? Oh, a banner. I'm going to pull this off the screen for now, just to get the comments down. Let's see. Ricky posted the first video on the basket case Camaro on December 31st, 2014. Well, let's see. So it's only been 7 years. Right? And in the meantime, if I'm not mistaken, in that 7 years, I built the light blue Mustang, right? I think I started on that in that same time period. I don't know. The light blue Mustang, the Mystique Mustang, the of course Jade, which I've had longer than the Camaro, I think. Jade, and of course the convertible. And along with that, I have done many, many, many other things. So there's been a lot going on in that time period. But thank you, Rick. Bob, I'm late, but I'm here. I was busy working on Venus. Forgot what time it is. How are you, sir? I am well, Bob. I hope Venus is coming along. Troy, I'm excited to see your progress on the Camaro. It will be great when you get all the new panels on it. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be so cool. Once I get my approach, how I'm going to attack this thing, because I'm already planning on replacing the whole side of this car. I've talked about it before. I have the whole side back there beside the lift, and then so I have to do the side. I have an all new roof skin, all cross bracing. I have all that stuff, and I have a new. Well, you can't see it, but right here is a new rocker panel for the other side because it is rusted out. So I'll be replacing the rocker panel, at least the outer wheelhouse on the other side. Of course, the quarter panels, tail panel, deck filler. There's a new package tray or package shelf in here. New fenders. It's got a new core support, and there's some things I'll just have to really look at and see how it works. The assembly on this car is different. So when you look at that, let me pull down your comment real quick. Right there's the new rocker panel for the other side too. And in that box is all the roof cross bracing. There's a new new cowl vent. Anyway, if you look at how this is configured right here, the Camaros have a big air box on the side. So when the Mustang, the fenders are pretty flat, and the Camaro is more more rounded, let's say. Well, it's because of that box. Because the cowl doesn't have a chamber up on top like the Mustangs. It has this side chamber. It has an inlet, and then it comes in see if I get my hand, and it comes in and then goes around and comes back out. And this is all part of the replacement. Like, I'm going to be replacing the whole A-pillar, the windshield, or all the framework, everything you see beyond that box. That box is going to stay. However, I may have to remove that box in order to replace all of this other stuff. So, but I'll show that, and we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it turns out. Yeah, Steve. Chris, how much? How much what? How much work? Or how much for the car? Because once I get it done, it will be up for sale. And I'll point out this car was originally rally green, which I like green, but this was a rally green car too. Jim, so now you have some room to work on mine. I got to get this thing done. One way or another, I've got to get the Camaro. That's got to be my priority at this point. I've sat on it way too long. I've had, it's developed some other rust issues, even though, I've had it in the shop and then sitting outside for quite some time, and had it under tarps, but still moisture gets to things. It's got a powder coated front subframe. It's got tubular A-arms on it, and those are okay. But, I'll have to clean everything out of the inside and do a very kind of detailed step-by-step as to what I'm going to be doing to the car. Derek, changes like a holiday, they say. Well, yeah, I could see that. Buck's Woodshop checking in. Glad you're here, Matthew. Ray, hey, Robert, watched the video of the new tool. I honestly thought those worked better. Now, what does that mean, Ray? You thought they worked better, or you thought that better than? What he's referring to is, if you haven't seen it yet, Robert did a review on the Bauer Harbor Freight paint stripper thing. I don't know what it's called. I can't think of the name of it. The drum roller thing, kind of like I talked about last week with Eastwood, sells that stripper. Well, Robert got one, and what I saw of the video looks like it did a fantastic job. So I don't know which part. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Ray, because he stripped the whole bottom of that car in like half an hour, I think, 45 minutes. So it looked like it turned out really nice. And Ray, what engine would be going back in that Camaro, that 454 you have during that you have around? I don't know that I plan to put an engine in it at this point. My original plan. Let's say I'll back up a step. I had the other 68 Camaro that I bought that it came to me with a 454 in it. I forgot all about that. It came to me with a 454, and during the rebuild process, I said, I don't want this thing, and I sold that 454. Then I thought, if I were to rebuild, the plan, I think, to get rid of the 454 in the other Camaro, the black Camaro, and I was going to put in an LS engine, was kind of the goal. There was going to be, I have a 5.3 LS with the 4L60 transmission. I've had it sitting in the shop for like 18 years, I guess, something. It's a low miles engine. And I thought about putting it in the black Camaro before I sold it. And so part of me, if I really wanted to, would probably go for the LS, mod. But I do have the 454 sitting over there, and I don't think I have a built transmission. I don't know if I have a transmission to fit on it. But yeah, at this point, I don't necessarily plan to put all the mechanicals back in it. I just want to get the sheet metal done, and then somebody else can buy it and do all that work. Simone, talking of replacement panels, I fixed my welder. The only issue is the irregular wire feed. Okay. Yeah, having the wire kind of sporadic is painful. I understand what you're saying. I've had a very slight issue with my Lincoln on occasion where it would do that. I have used that Yes Welder MP200, and that thing has so far. Now I haven't done a lot of welding with it, but I did the fabrication on that metal stand. It was really nice, very smooth. Rick finished the Camaro, then on to the fastback conversion. Maybe that was my goal. Okay, that was my goal. But the problem is nobody has parts. I need a lot of sheet metal to do the fastback conversion. I can't start on. I'm not going to start on it unless I have the pieces here. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know exactly where I'm going on this path. I do want to do the conversion, but I may have to just put it on hold. And if that's the case, well, that's just how it is. But I do have other projects. I have other people that are wanting to send me cars. And there's several people that have talked to me. They already have sheet metal that they've bought and have it on hand that they can supply with the work that they want done. So I just don't know what I can do. If I don't have parts, I really can't make things happen. So the focus at this point will be for the Camaro, and I don't have a specific timeline in place. I want to make sure I get it right, make sure it's straight, all the things that I do, and we'll see. But if I can get the parts while I'm still trying to do that, if I can get the parts in the meantime, then I will go back and do the 67 fastback. Robert's talking about the metal conditioner, as Steve calls it. It is a metal conditioner, yes. And Robert said it works really well, and I thought it did too. Terry, this calls for some shoe fly pie and ribs. Yeah, I could do some ribs. Yeah, and I could do shoe fly pie, but just with coffee. I don't want to associate shoe fly pie and ribs in the same taste buds. Two different realms there. But a good dark cup of coffee and some shoe fly pie, yeah, I'd be all over that. Ray Buckman, I thought those rollers on the Bauer was more like layers of sandpaper. Not from what I saw on his video. I didn't see any. It was like the like he had pointed out, the plastic with the I don't know what I have those discs that I use, and it seems like it's the same kind of thing. Those fibrous discs that it's like a plastic with some material in it, and it looked like it did a great job. Greg checking in from Australia. Glad you're here, Greg. Hope all is well. Buck Switch Up, you have a wonderful platform. Lots of project car. Yeah, lots of project car and cars. Leonard, evening all. Glad you're here, Leonard. Derek, sorry I have to go. Work waiting for me middle of the day here. We'll be listening in the background. Keep up the great work, Barry. Can't wait to see the progress on the Camaro. Glad you're here, Derek. Glad you're here. Ty, I'm replacing both frame rails and supports. I'm having trouble figuring out how to level the car. 69 coupe. Any advice? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. You're going to replace both frame rails and floor supports. Okay. Now I'm assuming you haven't started on that yet, right? I'm assuming. Like they're still in place, right? So if that's the case, what I would typically do, and level, let's just say, I'm not gonna beat this down and say it has to be level to do this. I'm not gonna say that, because what you can do is set up the car on 4 jack stands I use the pinch welds for the rocker panels. Okay, so if you get the car on 4 jack stands, then there's several ways you can approach doing the frame rails and supports. I don't know what you've bought, like if you bought individual frame rails or if you've bought the complete with a shock tower. Give me some more information on that as well. But what I would normally do is start with one floor support. And if you're replacing a floor support, I'm wondering if your floor pan is okay. So you kind of work one against the other. Normally, I would probably approach the floor pan and then the floor support, get it out of the way. And then if I'm doing just the frame rail, but give me some more information. you can build a temporary jig that locates the frame rail. Like if you have the car sitting on jack stands, you could build something out of wood that indexes where that frame rail sits height-wise and left to right. Okay? So the idea being you could cut out that piece, push the new one in, and you've got a zero platform again. It doesn't really matter if it's level as long as you're indexed back where you started with that first one. So need some more information though. If the car's been wrecked or if it's just rusted, those sort of things come into play as well. So anyway, that's kind of where I would look at it, was build something that's going to hold it in place, get one done, go to the other one, do the same thing. So we'll see. Let me get this picture download Robert sent me. And Simone says hi to Greg. Harvey, sometimes the power source for a welder can cause problems with steady wire feed. Check that you have a good heavy extension cord. A dedicated circuit breaker in your box may also help. That is a good point, Harvey. Valid point. Good point. Robert has sent me a picture of his floor pan, I think. Now, this is using that metal conditioner, the Bauer metal conditioner from Harbor Freight. So check this out. So let me pull down his comment real quick. Now, I know you've replaced stuff on this, but I don't know exactly what you've replaced. It looks like I still see some areas that have look like they have paint on them, but obviously you've done some sandblasting, right? And a lot of stripping with the metal conditioner. I know you replaced. I'm pretty confident you replaced the floor supports. And I know the driver's side floor pan, I think. So anyway, give me some more information on that so we can share that with everybody. That filled up the whole page. That was a pretty good picture, Robert. I did a full screen. Nice. Usually it comes in, it's got a little small picture. So Robert is saying it's the same as the discs that I use for stripping. Yeah. Greg says, hi, everyone. And he says, Barry, I got a lot of work to do in my next show. Okay, good. Ty, I got a way I can contact you, email or such. Yes. On the bottom of the screen right now is my email. JoeDaddy'sGarage@gmail.com. Don't forget the S on Joe Daddy's. A lot of people do, and I never get the email. Robert, blasting in the hard to get to spots, then those two black pieces are replacements. Sorry, I was on the phone. You can't be on the phone. Okay, so the black pieces are replacement panels. Okay, so the passenger side footwell area and the driver's side footwell area are replacements. The rest is original metal. That is pretty nice. I'm telling you. I'm going to have to get one of those. I am going to have to get one of those. I would love it if Eastwood, you listening? Eastwood, send me a metal conditioner. Then I can advertise for you. Simone, I'm currently using an extension from the house with a trip box. I will upgrade it. Okay. Yep, that would help. And Harvey says, Robert, the underside looks great. It does. Robert, the floor supports are new as well. That's what I thought. Yeah. Greg says, Barry, there's a lot of work. Well done. Yeah, it's. I don't know how much. I don't think it took that much time for him to do it with that tool. That thing's pretty impressive. And Simone saying hi. So, if you haven't checked out Robert's channel, check out the Infernal Craftsman. Get a look at what he's doing over there, because I watched him do the video on that, and I'm jealous. I immediately went to my Harbor Freight webpage, started looking for one of those things, and I put in my location and it says, nope, you don't have any here. But there's one down the road this way, one, they have it down the road this way. I'm like, well, why don't they have it at my store? I would probably get one right now if they had it. And Robert says, thanks, still needs work, but most of that was done in around an hour. Yeah, see? That's pretty quick. I mean, I would rather use that. I think blasting is okay. If you've got a good blaster, I've got a blaster over here. It works, yeah, occasionally. It tends to clog up and just be a mess. But I've done stuff with it. I've done several things with it, but just kind of not that satisfied. Now I know that you're limited on that drum roller, metal conditioner, whatever you want to call it. That roller is looks like it's about 4 or 5 inches wide, I guess. So obviously you can't get into narrow channels like he was showing. If you look in this picture, the recessed areas of the floor pan, you're not going to get down inside that with that tool. So like he's saying, he's going to be using the blaster to get down in there. But still saves you a ton of time. And, let's see. Doyle. Does it heat up the metal? According to Robert's video, it does warm it up. Now, I don't know if it gets it super hot, but okay, let me send. I'm going to send Robert an invite, and then maybe we can talk about it some more. Okay, sent him an invitation, so maybe he can get on here soon. Nandu, the tool is great. The drums is how they make money. Yeah, that is true. Now, Robert was commenting that you can find them on Amazon, different ones. I don't know how good they are, but we'll have to see. Ray, I thought it was a great tool, guys, but thoughts were the drum roller is made of sandpaper, flaps of sandpaper. I don't know how to describe it. I've seen it for smaller hand tools. Yeah, it's not actually made that way. It's not actually made that way. Because I know that the tools that I've used, the discs, like Gator grip discs or whatever they are, it's kind of a weird. Let me see if I have one. I probably don't have a new one. I've got a decent used one, but I think this is similar. It has this really open kind of, I don't know how to describe it, membrane material. This is what I've used to strip quarter panels and the roof and everything. And when I do that, I just kind of go over an area and then I move. And I do another area and I move. And I go to another area and I move. And it may get warm, but it doesn't get hot enough to distort it. But you could, if you just sat there and just rubbed on it and rubbed on it and rubbed on it, it could probably cause problems. But I've used this on all kinds of stuff. And the roof, quarter panels, hoods, and haven't had any issues. That was for Doyle, by the way. Good for roof skin. It gets warm. Yeah. Michael Pagliarini. Hello all. Got some work done on my 65. Shelby drop is done. And reinforcement plate made and welded in the shock towers. Awesome. Good for you. Good. I was going to talk to everybody, that if you were looking at the picture of the car that is on the, I see it, Robert. I'll get you on in a second. That is on my thumbnail for for this video. That is this car right here. Okay. I saw this past weekend at just a little cruise in. There's a farm close to me that does these tractor shows and truck shows, and I went there with my wife. We're walking around, And this Mustang is there. I was dumbfounded because the car looked like it had not been restored, for one, and the car itself. It said 48,000 miles on this car. And what was really bizarre, in my opinion, again, it doesn't show that it was ever like totally repainted or anything, but the door and the where your arm would sit on the door, you got the little where the window channel is. It was all kind of gummy, from just somebody resting their arm on there. The gauges, the chrome was pitted. The chrome was chalky looking, the seat had a split in it. And the interior was brown in this car. And the wheels were not polished. They needed to be. Everything looked like it was like, I don't know. It was just really bizarre to me. I tried to find the owner of the car. I couldn't find the owner. I left him a note because I said I would like to just talk to him about it. I didn't say I want to buy it or anything because obviously. Now, I don't know. I can assume it's a real Shelby, and it says GT500 on the side. And the other thing that I was looking at, I crawled underneath the car to look at just to see how the underside was done. It's not been touched. It had road grime on it. It had a little bit of surface rust where the metal was exposed. It had some undercoating on it. The bottom of the rocker panels, the paint was missing. But the weirdest thing was the exhaust. Because I think those had like a special exhaust on them. I think they had some sort of a chambered exhaust or something. I don't know. But where the Y pipe came back, and I think it joined into one. I think I really couldn't see it very well, but they had taken like that fiberglass or asbestos muffler repair stuff you could get, and it was wrapped around the pipe, and there were 5 radiator clamps holding this thing together. And I'm thinking, who does that to a 68 Shelby GT500 convertible? I was just like dumbfounded. So anyway, I'm trying to get some more information on it. If I can, I would like to do kind of, go do an interview with the guy and see what he's doing. Let's see. One more here. Dawn. Hello, folks. Made it. More exciting stuff today. Manufacturers wanting me to pay for shipping bad parts back to them? No. That's not how that works. Not how that works. Okay. Let's see what Robert's up to. Pull him in on the stream.
Okay.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
So what's the temperature out in the shop?
I'll put it this way. It was nice yesterday.
Yeah.
I was wearing shorts, and it was really nice outside, and today, not so much.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm going to adjust something really quick.
Okay.
I can hear a little bit of. I hear it, and I'm trying to see if I can fix that on my end.
Well, I could turn down my mic, my speaker a little bit and see if that helps.
Okay, is that any better?
I don't know. I don't hear it.
Okay, I don't hear it now. Okay.
Okay, because I'm with my microphone. I'm getting the speaker from the laptop coming straight at me, and it might be picking up on the mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't hear it now, so I think
okay,
we're good. Talking about those wheels for that thing, right? Now, this one, that's that red one. I mean, it's a Scotch-Brite, but I mean, it is stiff.
Yeah,
it is hard as a rock.
Yeah.
This thing here is the same way. This one has little pieces of sandpaper in there. It's a finer grit one. But what I want to get, it probably would have worked better on the bottom, is that you can get, these drums with this nylon abrasive wheel on it. And I mean, I just got the thing yesterday. I wanted to play with it.
Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
It's a new toy, but you can get them with this. And I think this would be the better way to go for when you've got all the the undulations and everything. Now, like on the bottom where you've got like the two ribs and the little grooves, you can hold it up and do that corner,
Yeah, that's true.
and it's just you can do that to a point, and then you're going to wear it out. But you can flip it over, so you've got both corners you can use. But it's working really well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did the whole bottom of that, everything except for some of the areas in the back. Some of the stuff in the back I sandblasted, but everything else, all the big flat areas and all most of what you see in the field there, is about an hour or so worth of work.
Yeah.
And it just you don't have to push really hard. If you push hard, it's going to get the metal warm. But you just kind of like you run back and forth and back and forth, and you just do, you don't try to get it all off at one time.
Okay.
You just kind of keep moving. You move around, and it comes off. So let me grab it real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a video of, I think, the Eastwood product, and it had some kid running it. He
Oh
was
yeah,
stripping off.
now I don't know how well you could see it,
I can see it.
but
Yeah.
you can see this is still a pretty good corner, and that's it's kind of
Kind of
starting
rounded.
to go over a little bit that,
Yeah.
but and I was able to get that into the corners with that. And again, this is just like those the 3M wheels, and it's that same hard stuff. Um, so
Well, I
far
think
I've been pretty good. Um,
I looked them up. They list them for 129, I think.
on yeah, on the Harbor Freight, yeah, and it comes with all three of these wheels.
Okay. Now, it's basically the same motor mechanism as like a 90-degree grinder, right?
It's I would say that this is it's a grinder. But
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying it's got a 90, like your regular 90-degree head, 4.5 inch grinder,
yeah,
but it's got a
you can
different.
see the head here, and basically it's a big old gearbox.
Oh,
You'll have
yeah.
a shaft to here, come over here, and you got a gearbox here, and it works. I mean, it's kind of expensive for a gearbox.
Well, a good grinder, like I was talking about with a 90-degree, 4.5 inch grinder, those, I mean, a decent one is about $80.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I mean, you can buy one at Harbor Freight for 20, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
probably gonna last you a day or two. But I've got different. I've got some good name brand ones that I've
Hmm.
used, and if I remember, it was $80 seems reasonable for a decent one. So granted, you're paying $50 more for a gearbox, but you're also getting the drums. You're getting a good package.
And exactly, that's like when I look at it, it's like, okay, that wheel there is about $25. These here are, say, $15 a piece. That's not a bad deal when you're getting it all in one package.
When you add it up, if you end up individual pricing,
It's
I
not
mean, you've
bad.
got $55 in drums.
Exactly.
So
And
take
that's
that
going
off.
on, and that's figuring the cheap ones on Amazon.
Yeah,
The lowest end, cheapest ones you can buy on Amazon. So, and I don't know how good they are.
right.
I haven't a clue because I haven't had it in my hand yet. But so far it's working. Yeah. I mean, I wish I had it years ago.
Well, I mean, I've looked at them over the years, and I really haven't, tried to. I didn't want to go buy one from like Eastwood or something, just because.
Hmm.
But if they wanted to send me one, I'd be happy to just demonstrate it for them. Um,
Yeah,
but I
so
don't.
just go ahead and send you because send you the Eastwood one, and we'll compare them, and
That would be great. That would be great. Also, Simone says he would like a cordless angle grinder. They make them.
yeah. And there's a lot of times I wish I had one for a lot of stuff I'm working on. Just I weld something up, I just want to grind it off really quick with that, and a cordless one would be handy. And
Yeah.
I thought about that cheap little Bauer one because not because it was the best or the most powerful, but it was the smallest 18-20 volt that you could get.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not but that big.
Well, who is it that Milwaukee has their M4 series, or M something series?
Oh, yeah, but I'm just talking about like a regular, grinder,
Yeah.
4.5 inch grinder.
Oh, he's talking about a cordless one. Are you talking about a cordless one?
No, I'm talking about they have
Oh,
about the cordless, like 4.5 inch
okay,
grinder. Yeah, yeah. And the
okay,
Bauer one is just a lot of times when you're welding stuff, it's just like I just want that to knock stuff off real quick.
yeah. Nick is here. Glad you're here, Nick. And Bob is saying, "Good evening, all. A little late. Did I miss the on the thing story?" Well, if you don't see what's behind me, the Camaro is in the shop.
Yeah, let me see if let me.
Camaro is in the shop.
I'm going to try something. I'm going to see if this battery works for more than 30 seconds.
Okay, so Ray is saying, but bigger and like 80 grit. Okay, I'm not sure what he's responding to. Oh, and Ray says, sent you an email of what I thought was on the Bauer. Okay. I did not get that. If you send me an email, Ray, I didn't get it. It's got to be Joe Daddy's Garage, no apostrophe, just JODADDYS Garage at gmail.com.
Yeah, and you can see where I've got all that taken off there, and these little notches here.
Yeah.
I did that all with the tool,
Let me see if I can.
just leaning that over and reaching in there. The problem is you can't get up there. You can't get up in there because it's just too tight. Some of this stuff like that in there, you're not going to get in there, but you get as much as you can. But geez, like I said, I got all that done. All this over here, all this over here, this whole section down here. That cross member there, I sandblasted already somewhat. So, like I said, it's not done. And I did start sandblasting in the edges here and up in the back, and that kind of stuff there. So now you guys get to see how ugly it is from the bottom in person.
I think it looks pretty good. I pulled myself off the screen there for a second so I could show the full screen of your
Yeah.
view.
But basically everything forward of the firewall is new, including the floor supports. So yeah, I welded a patch on the firewall, that piece down there, and then that guy up there. Yeah, but the tool works really well. It really does. Yeah, set this back down.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look at getting a hold of one of those. Definitely. Okay.
And with my luck, next week it's probably going to be on sale.
Oh, okay. So Ray, he sent me a link to what he thought was on the Bauer pad, and now I see what he's talking about. He thought it was a whole like almost like a flapper disc.
Okay. There are, some of these wheels that have, bigger gaps and will act more like a flap, like a flap type.
Yeah.
There are ones that'll do that from what I found. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's all sorts of different wheels for them.
Well, let me show you. This is what he thought.
That's
what he thought was on there. Yeah, it's completely different.
They do have some like that you can get.
Okay.
I haven't used it yet, so I don't have a clue. But I really want to get, if I were to do the bottom again, I mean, I don't need it now, but I would definitely get the one that uses this orange or gray, wire,
Okay, now do they?
Wire wheel.
Is that thing with the let's just call it a fingered pad or whatever? Are those available for that from Bauer
Amazon. I'll send you
on
the link.
Amazon?
Yeah, I've got them all saved, so I'll send you the link to all those.
But I mean, like, do they sell them at Harbor Freight though?
No.
Okay, so it's only from
Harbor Freight does not have any of the replacement drums yet. I mean, because
okay.
They just got in the stores, last few days. So
yeah, they're not going to have an inventory of anything for a while.
No, but I hope if their pricing's decent, then I won't have a problem buying them from Harbor Freight versus just ordering.
Well, yeah, that's I'm with you on that. Simone says, Barry, what is your first job on the shell? I'm talking about the Camaro. Get everything out of it, get the subframe off of it, and start measuring. and then add some bracing. I'll probably be adding some bracing at some point,
Do you,
and
do you
just
have a
seeing
car
what.
do
Do
you
what?
have one to measure from?
No,
Oh,
I don't need one to measure from.
just
I
would
have
be
sheet
nice.
metal. I have sheet metal to measure from.
And make a cardboard cutout of the glass so you can set it in there, make sure it
I
all lines
actually
up.
have a windshield and a back glass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I will mock those pieces in place just to see,
Mm-hmm.
and if it looks like it's follows the contour, but the whole side of this car is coming off.
Yeah.
So regardless, and there is just to let me pull you off the screen for just a second, just so everybody sees. There is nothing in here. There's no cross bracing. Nothing. It is all cut out. So I'll have to get creative
Well,
in how I approach this.
it's like when I, had to cut the front off of this one. I'm like, I can have all the parts sitting there, but where does it go? Then you just put this here, put that there, and you move things around. And I got a friend that I was able to go over and measure a really straight car. And he had everything off the front already, so there's no fenders, so it's just easy to go measure things and getting angles. And I, I don't know if it's perfect, but it's close enough that it's going to be fine.
Well, and I mean, my thing has always been, to test fit, test fit,
Hmm.
test fit, and I've got some foundation that I'm comfortable with. Like I feel good about the floor pan. I don't see any wrinkles in the floor pan. Um, the rocker panels are straight. So if I use that as a basis and kind of go work my way backwards, then I can, and like I said, if I get this side up in place and clamped up, I can set the roof on and look at the gaps left and right and see, okay, which side is off.
Hmm.
Do some cross bracing, figure out which one is, if I have to lean them.
Hmm.
So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. I like the challenge of it. So
Sunroof.
Bob says was just watching Robert's review. Looks like a good tool. Yes, I believe it is. Ralph, that bottom looks great. Did he use bristle brush or drum on the grinder? So what did you use on the
That
grinder?
that black wheel, which
The
is
black wheel that's on it right now.
yeah, which is I'll be right back. Let me go
Yeah,
grab
it's
one.
the fiber, the heavy fiber looking thing. The same thing, same material I was just talking about with this, like this disc, this polycarbide that I use on a grinder. It looks like the same material that is what he has. So if I hold this up and you hold,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah.
But
These
you were
are the little,
using, okay, so you weren't using a drum. You were using a
well,
drill or something.
well. This is just the three. For illustration, these are the 3M ones that you can buy in Home Depot and in Walmart.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the material, but it's the same material that's on that drum. Is the
Okay.
same thing you have on your grinder.
Yeah.
It's that same material that's on that drum,
Yep.
and you just stay away from sharp edges, just
Oh
like you
yeah.
would with that stuff, because you catch sharp edges, you'll shred at the bits.
Yeah. Simone, Robert, I love watching work on body shells. I will keep an eye on your work. So there you go.
Well, there's not much left body work on it.
That's okay. I'm sure there's information he can use. Nick, anybody do their own front end alignments? Recommended a toolkit possibly aligning the front and rear is my next step. Well, what I'd like to be my next step. I can't recommend anything in particular. What I can tell you is a friend of mine. He's got he's got like a very expensive kit
Mhm.
that you can set the wheel on, set the tire on. It actually will like float around the wheel. And he had this little like bubble thing that you hooked on to the wheel itself. It was really kind of cool. But we did the alignment on Jade, and it was dead on. It was dead on. Now, I can't say I don't know what the name of the kit was. I think I might have posted some pictures on Facebook or something, but it would be like a $3,000 kit.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the circle track type.
Yeah,
racing
yeah.
setups. Yeah,
And he
yeah.
bought it because he's planning the drag race, so he wants to make sure his car is dead
Hmm.
on. And that was, I mean, it was fun to do, and maybe I should have done a video on it, but I don't know anybody who's going to go out and buy one of those.
I used to have, and now I wish I still had it. The old ones that were about yay long. It was aluminum thing with the bubbles in it, and it was magnet. You took the hub, the grease cap off, and you stick it on the hub, and then you turn it this way, you turn it that way, and to get your caster. Yeah, I don't remember how many degrees it is anymore. I used to have one of those, the old timey type ones, and I mean, if you can find one of those, you can do an alignment with that because that's what they did back then.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't. Not everybody had a fancy alignment rack back then. They just used that little bubble level and called it good.
So Nick is asking, was it the Joe's Racing one? I don't know. It's on my Joe Daddy's Facebook page somewhere. I think it's on Pictures of Jade that I have it on there. So if you want to go look at that, uh, you could probably find it there. But I don't know the name of it. I don't remember specifically. But it was really nice. Let's see. Doyle, will the Eastwood drums fit that tool? Good question.
They're the
Good
same.
question.
They are the
They're-
same.
okay.
The Eastwood ones and if you look on Amazon, you'll find a whole bunch of just converted angle grinders that they just take an angle grinder and turn it 90 degrees, put a stick on it, and they use the same wheel.
Okay.
So they're all the same. From what I've found, they're all the same measurements.
Okay. Well,
And,
that's a
and
good thing.
well, there are some high end ones that are like $600. Yeah, the Eastwood was the cheap one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's companies that sell them for metal finishing and stuff like that. There's $600-800 ones. There's kits that'll be like $1,200-1,500. Yeah, there's some really expensive ones out there. So, and Metabo over in Germany has been making big ones and small ones for years. So
Well,
we have affordable now.
the only question I have on when you did yours, I know you just pulled it out of the box, hooked it up, plugged it in, and I commented that I saw the video and lost sound when you were doing it, but you were making some faces like this something's not right here.
Well, that was the soft start. I wasn't. I pulled the trigger. It's like, oh, that was weird. It has a soft start, and I didn't expect it to have a soft
Okay,
start to
so
it.
it's got like a good grinder. It
Yeah,
just doesn't have full on torque as soon as it hits the go.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it does have. You can adjust the speed, which I just halfway and
Yeah.
left it there.
Okay, I was wondering what was going on. I was like, that doesn't. His facial expressions don't tell me this is a good thing. So that's what I was wondering.
But it's
Um,
not too big or heavy either. You can do it with one hand. So when I'm doing stuff, I'll turn it around and use it with one hand to do this and
okay.
different angles. Yeah, it's a little heavy, but it's not bad.
Uh, Simone says, CAD cardboard aided design.
Yep.
Yes. Hey, it works. It works. Rick, Robert, what's the history on your car? How long have you had it? What was it like when you got it?
Okay. Start off was a friend of mine. His mom wanted a Mustang forever, and she worked at the cafeteria at the high school where they lived. Just walked to work every day, that close. Well, they had an auto shop at the time. They had the car. They were going to use it as an auto shop project, and that fell through when they got a fastback. So they did the fastback, and she bought the Mustang from them. And she bought it somewhere around 90, 91, 92, in that range. And it was, basically an empty shell at that point. And I don't really know what happened, what it was before that. And then, when I got it, I did a little work on it while she had it. She bought some parts. Some of it was the right stuff. Some of it wasn't. Um, you know how those go when you don't know what you're buying. So I finally get it here, and I knew that after she passed away, and I told my friends that, hey, I'd like to buy it. So I got the car, got it here. I've had it what 2.5. I actually I'll have to look at it. I brought it Christmas Day a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Christmas Day, actually, or Christmas Eve. I brought it over here, and it was just a lot of look at this, look at that. This is bent. I don't want to fix that, so I just cut the front off, redid that, did the convertible inner rockers. I've got everything off. Might as well put those in, and yeah, it was a rough, empty shell when I got it. So
Well, I like that. You put in the inner convertible rockers.
hmm
I think that's gonna be really nice, um, to make it just keep it more solid,
yeah,
stronger. Um, and I don't know if you're planning on putting frame connectors beyond that or just the inner
some,
rockers.
somewhat. One of the things I will do is Global West sells a kit. Basically, it's you take 1 inch square tubing and you put it on the inside lip of the pinch weld up underneath.
Okay.
And the main purpose of that is when you put a floor jack underneath it, you've got somewhere to put your floor jack.
Okay.
Because you put that thick walled 1 inch square tubing, you weld it up inside the pinch weld. You really don't see it from the outside, except for a little bit. Who cares? You paint it black anyway.
Right.
But that gives you a nice solid place of when you put a floor jack underneath it, you can hit that square tube there and
Yeah.
lift the car and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Unlike somebody using a floor support where it just buckles.
Yeah,
But yeah, that makes sense.
because
Makes sense.
they have a kit that does that, that rail here, and then they somehow tie it into their subframe connectors with basically a ladder type system, and
Hmm.
no angles, but just a ladder. And I've seen some guys that will go ahead and put a front, regular subframe connectors in, and then do angle braces to that piece on the outside.
Okay.
I mean, I could do that, but I think it's overkill for for what I want.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about what I would do. Like Nick, I know Nick is doing a lot of cool bracing on his car, but he sounds like he's going to try to do like road course.
Hmm
It's what he wants. And I know he's posted some pictures on Instagram. His
hmm
front suspension, I think it's Global West.
The
Really
Global West
nice.
stuff is really good. Yeah.
Really nice. Makes me jealous. I'm like, I can't. I'm stuck with plain old control arms, and you know,
The
at
furthest
least at
I'm
this
going to
point.
yeah, the furthest I'm going to go on this with aftermarket suspension is going to be the front suspension where I use the C my CCP, I think is what it is.
Okay, yeah,
The, the
CCP, yeah,
the one that has basically a big piece of shape like that that goes in place of the strut rod mounts. Take the you don't have the strut rod mount, so you put that piece on there, and it gives you a full lower A arm
ah,
instead of just a stick. Instead of just that. I
right,
don't like strut rods. I don't
yeah,
because I look at it and it's like that's just not a strong way. And then you get weird geometry in the suspension as well, the way it moves.
yeah,
And
yeah,
in the control arm kit, I want to say is about $400.
okay,
It's both control arms and the brace, and I mean you can go more. Then
sure,
you can get uppers with it, but that gives you a nice solid official real lower control arm, which I'm a lot happier with.
okay. So Nick says it's Total Control Products,
Okay,
Chris Alston. Okay,
yeah,
I
and their
wasn't
stuff's really
sure,
good too. Yeah,
but yeah, it looks. I mean, it's on Instagram, so, but it looked really, really nice. Let me see here. Ralph Burrows, thanks. I hope I can find that tool at my Harbor Freight. Yeah, the closest one to me is about probably 17 miles from me. I have a Harbor Freight right up the road, but they don't have it. So,
well,
not
if
that
it
I
show
need it
if
right now, though.
but if it shows in stock, because see, she last live stream you did, she was out having her nails done, and I asked her to stop into Harbor Freight to get one for me, and she's reluctant at first, but she actually went in and spent probably 20 minutes trying to find it, and had the people there, they couldn't find it. It showed they had it in stock, and I'm pretty sure they had it because when I went yesterday and I asked the guy, I said, he said, "Have you got it?" And he said, "Well, it shows that we have it." He says, "Well, meet me back over at the corner." And we're looking around, and here you're looking all over the place. You finally go at the back, right before you go into the employee area in the back, and there's a rack on the left. At the very top of that rack it's piled up there because they didn't have anywhere else to. They didn't have a place to put it,
Yeah.
so they're putting new stuff up there. So anything new that comes out, you might want to check in an odd spot like that to see if they have it.
Okay. Well, I'll ask. I mean, like I said, can't say that I absolutely have to have it right now, but it would be nice to have.
It'll probably go on sale, so wait a few days,
Well, maybe.
or it'll
I don't
go
know
up
if
in price.
I don't know if I answered Nick's question. He says, "Was it Joe's Racing talking about that alignment kit?" And I said, "I don't know." Nick says he has the Eastwood version. It works great, but good lord, the dust.
Yeah,
And I can
yeah.
believe that.
There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
It's just a dust creating machine.
Doyle, other question is, does it have metal gearing or plastic inside that?
I I haven't taken it apart yet. I believe it's metal. It sounds metal.
Yeah.
When I turn it back and forth, it sounds metal. It doesn't sound plastic. I know the Eastwood one is metal, so I'm assuming. And I look at them side by side, and I'd be surprised that they're not the same machine or made in the same factory or something like that. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if they're not the same.
It could very easily be the same tool. Michael, has anyone tried Walter Flex Cut Disc? No
I
idea
have,
what that is.
I'm familiar with Walter, but I've never used any of their stuff.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that either.
They're too expensive for me.
Mason says, "Hey Joe Daddy's Garage, wanted to ask you, where's Jade at? Jade is in the back of the shop. It's in the paint booth area, just sitting, just being out of the way. But I have my battle worn '68 Camaro up here now. That's the next project in the shop. So, good question though. Yeah, you don't know where Jade is. Let's see. Lawrence, do you know what changes I'll have to make with the motor mounts on my 66 Stang going from a straight 6 to a 302? I mean, you're going to need the motor mounts that are for the V8.
Yep.
That's about what I need to tell you. I
Don't
know
get
that
the
they don't
67
cross over from what I understand.
and then the 67 up are not the same.
Right.
They are the same, but one of the holes is in a different spot. It's like slightly over. The reason I know that very well is because the mounts that I have for this one are for a 67. So they
Okay.
yeah. Another one of the wonderful things that I found about this car is somebody put the wrong engine mounts in it, and then they hogged out the holes to make in the mounts to make them fit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's always fun. Okay, I've got a couple emails. Nick sent me. He sent me some nice pictures here. So let me just download these real quick. And the other one I got was from Ty, and he was off the. I mean, I could download the pictures, but I need to probably communicate with him separately on the on what he needs to do for his frame rails and stuff. So let me see what's the first one I'm pulling down is a picture. See if it'll come in. Nope, that's Robert's picture. I've already done that one. Hold on. I had another email from I think it's Mike. It says Mike. Oh, that's the wrong picture too. I'm 0 for 2 right now. Hold on. Because it doesn't. I can't tell what they are until I mean, I know it just gives me a number when I do the download. It'll just give me a random image number, and I don't know what's what.
It'd be nice
So-
if they give you a little, small icon of it or something.
Yeah, it doesn't do that. So here's Nick's suspension. Let me pull this off, and I have some more pictures he has sent me. So let me see here.
Yeah, I like that. I like that strut type. Well, it's kind of a half strut, half normal there. And
Let
from
me see what this one is. So that's a 4-link setup.
oh, weird.
Nice. That's nice. Hold
Now,
on.
my
I've got
question
more
is:
coming.
any reason for the four link versus a panhard bar type suspension for road course?
What's that again?
I just wondered, why a four link versus a panhard bar?
That's a good question.
I would lean towards the panhard bar versus the four link.
So
I, I,
this is,
I mean, I see a four link as more of a drag racing than a road course. Not to say they can't do it, but you know what I mean.
you got some. There's Nick's help.
Must be nice to have help.
Yeah, but I do like that setup.
Yes, I do too.
I mean, yeah. And then I thought, hold on a second. I thought I had downloaded another one. Let me see. Um, Maybe I did not. Let me try it again. There it comes. Okay. Yeah. It's not like I have an assistant here to help click on things. So this picture is from Mike. That looks nice.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah, he says he got my engine all buttoned up. So yeah, that does look nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see where we're at here. Um, okay. So Bob says, I'm spoiled. I have 3 Harbor Freights in a triangle all the way around me, all within 8 miles of each other. Well, then you should be able to get anything you need real quick. Simone, good night, everyone. I'm off to sleep. Good night, Simone. Glad you're here. Nick, TCP coilovers, Meyer Racing drop spindles,
Mm-hmm.
TCP manual rack, TCP bump steer kit for outer tie rods, DRP wheel bearing spacers, and Quadrolink, of course, in the rear. So it's a Quadrolink kit.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's going to be nice when it's done.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Jerry says the description on the Harbor Freight tool says steel gears. Thank you, Jerry. And Aaron, I bet it's sintered metal.
Yeah, they'd be powdered metal. Yeah, nobody's going to cut gears for that price anymore.
And then thanks you two for inspiring me to tackle my own 66 project. Got it running this week after being in a barn 30 plus years based on window sticker. Wow. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. Glad to hear that. Bob, my brother-in-law and me tried to stuff a 351 Cleveland in a 68 Mustang and found out about the motor mount frame piece having a different angle. So, yeah, no fun there. Nick, like a torque arm style suspension because the 4-link does have a track panhard bar.
Yeah, I was thinking there's the the one that's more like a 2-link that has the long panhard bar up at the front, kind of like it's similar to what a Camaro used. You have the panhard bar and you still have the other. It's kind of it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid one.
Okay.
But there's so many different suspension styles out there, and it seems every builder has that one that they like and works for them, and
oh yeah, I think
it's like,
I think it's going to be fine.
Oh yeah, it's like you look at
fine.
you remember the GNX that had that. It had a weird what's the McLaren actually designed the rear suspension on the GNX.
Oh really?
Because it had a aluminum casting that went on the rear end where the cover went, that had a bunch of extra linkages, and it had a short little panhard bar, and you'd have to look up pictures of it. It's a really goofy rear suspension. Like I said, McLaren designed it, but it worked.
Yeah,
it worked. And there's you can get reproductions of it if you want to get in line and shell out a whole bunch of cash.
Yeah.
and
well, I know that
you need the jig to put it in too, because you got to weld mounts in too.
Oh,
so you
I'm
need
sure.
The
Yeah.
jig. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know like the suspension at TCI whatever that was in the Pony project.
Mm-hmm.
It had basically 4-link and then a torque tube that attached, or torque bar that went forward and connected to their overly built cross member system that they had. Now, whether that is effective, I don't know. Because the goofy part about it is, to me, if you're looking at torque and trying to keep the axle from rotating, whenever you stomp on it, and maybe it does, I don't know, but the sleeve at the front, it just slides. Well, I guess maybe that would work, because I was trying to envision it. If you're trying to rotate or push, it can't, because that bar is up against the bottom.
Yeah, it keeps
that
your,
slider
keeps
is
your
just
pinion angle down. Yeah,
yeah, that slider is just there. I guess they could not make it rigid, or else it would snap something.
yeah. It's almost makes you think of like a Model A suspension when with the tube going all the way to the back, and
Yeah,
oh, that's a fun gasket to replace too when it leaks.
I've had mine completely apart.
When you don't want to take the car apart, it's a really fun gasket to replace.
Yeah. Now the only thing on the Model A, the only thing I did not disassemble the differential. I did not take that apart. I did not remove the tube for the drive shaft. I kept all that together. I don't even think I changed the lubricant in it. I don't think I did anything to it, other than having to bolt that stuff together and get it right. I don't even remember how I did it. But yeah, it was not fun.
No,
It was not fun.
no, because I had a buddy of mine that had a Model A truck out in Salt Lake City, and he passed away. His truck is still out on the salt flats. They're using it for the Target 550 land speed record vehicle out there. But I was up there, years and years ago, and he said, "Oh, that gasket's leaking at the end of the pipe." And it's like, so I'm pulling back on everything while he's up there trying to get it swapped out, and that was not fun. I was sore that next morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold this still as long as I can, and I'm like,
Let me know if I crush your fingers.
yeah, just yell if something happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't remember, I've worked on so many things. And the Model A was 2007, so 15 years ago. And I even now I look at some of the stuff and I'm going, how did I do that? I don't even know how I did that,
Oh yeah, I've got stuff that I've built. I look at years later and it's like, how did I do that?
Yeah.
How did I get this in front of that and that behind? I don't know.
Yeah. Bob. So the Just Tim is saying to Bob, putting a Boss 351 in a 68 this weekend, but we pulled it from another 68. So, well, you shouldn't have a problem. You're gonna have to. I mean, I would, if you're swapping everything, engine mounts and everything over, you should not have a problem.
I had found a really good website that had a lot of explanations on the different engine mounts and the angles and the different frame mounts and all the. So, well, in this year they changed it to this and changed the angle to, did that kind of thing. And
yeah,
and I read through it and I'm still confused on what fits what.
Well, it's not like let's say a Chevy, where it's like, here, use this mount for the next 30 years. Okay.
Yeah. and then at some point we just say, well, we're going to come up with a new mount, but we're going to use that same mount in everything for the next 20 or 30 years. And then now they're like, we're going to change it again, but we're going to flip it upside down and we're going to keep using it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was, I was building at the body shop. We were building that 55 Chevy truck, and it had a, step side bed on it. And the owner wanted a new tailgate. There was nothing I thought really wrong with the old tailgate, but he wanted a new tailgate. So he orders this, or we ordered it, whatever. And I don't remember the specific number as far as the year, but it basically was like, this tailgate will fit from 52 up to 72 or something like that. It was the same tailgate. They just, why change it? Just keep using the same one.
It works. It works. Yeah.
So I actually have the old tailgate. It's out in my shed out here. And of course, the thought is I can mount it to the wall, drop it down as a temporary shelf, which will never be temporary,
Yeah,
but it would be kind
horizontal
of neat.
surfaces.
What's that?
Horizontal surfaces
Yeah,
collect everything.
collection services. Um, but it would be kind of neat if I had like a big front porch or something that I could mount it on the porch and just, you drop it
Hmm.
down and just sit on it. But it'll probably never happen.
Well, that or she'd want it chain, hang it up on the wall and hang it off of chains, and then she'd want to put some plants on it or something.
Then you don't know what it's for. You don't know you can't see that it says Chevy on it anymore.
Yeah, then
You
just
know,
it's just might as well be a piece of plywood at that point.
yeah, you're not gaining anything. Although I did think about, because I push stuff up into my rafters, I could easily hang it, vertically off the rafters and just
Hmm.
just have it there. It'd be a piece of art at that point.
And with my luck, I'd be doing something and run into it, hit it with something, and then would fall.
Well, yeah, you don't think that way. Bob's saying on the winged sprint dirt car types we had what was called a Jacob's ladder link instead of a
Yeah,
panhard bar. Yeah,
yeah,
I've heard of those. Yeah.
yeah. I've seen them before. Yeah.
Bob was saying to Jim, we didn't know what motor was in that car before, so it just bit us. Yeah, yeah, and like I said, it's Ford has their thing where it's like, well, we need to change one thing. Let's just change one. No, let's change two
Hmm.
things. Oh wait, let's change five things. So you can't just
Well,
put it back together.
it's like they've got this little group doing that, this little group doing that, this little group, and nobody talks to each other. It's just everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
Well, it was funny. I made a post on Facebook years ago, and this is my storyline. I said, "Here's the story of a young engineer who went to work for Ford, and he was, ambitious and bright, and was trying to get involved. And during one big meeting, he spoke up and he said, I have this idea. I think we should try to interact with everybody. So, like, if the mechanics can tell us what they like and don't like, and the engineers can try to work with them, and we can simplify the hardware so we don't have
Hmm.
a 6.5 millimeter or something. We can simplify the hardware so the tooling is easier to work with, and then the repairs wouldn't cost as much, and people would be more interested in buying. He was
Hmm.
having this great thing, and all these people were looking at him with their jaws hanging open and just like, wow. The next day he was fired and blackballed
Yep.
from the industry.
Yep. Well, anytime somebody does something right, first thing that happens is they're fired.
Yeah, we can't have that. No, 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 no. We have
Yeah.
to make it as complicated as we can.
It's like it frustrated me with GM. In the '80s, when they were pushing for the we've got to be metric. So everybody did okay. It's going to be standard thread, but the heads will be metric. And then the windshield, the screws holding the windshield chrome on were 6.5 millimeter. They used them 4.5 millimeter in places. They
Yeah,
used them 5.5. And at the time, it was like even if you wanted to buy Snap-on ones, you went to the Snap-on guys like, I need a 5.5. They're like, no, I don't have that. So you had to go. I bought when Harbor Freight used to sell those little tool kits about yay big, the $3 ratchet kits with the cheap sockets. I bought a ton of those sets just to get the half size metrics out, and then I'd
yeah,
have to take them to the grinder to get that bevel off, just to have a socket to use.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I mean,
nobody had
it doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like the aircraft industry. You know, they've got one of the big things they had in the, I guess, 60s and 70s. At some point was the tri-wing.
it. Hmm.
Are you familiar with those?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a three-bladed screw, and it's tapered like a Phillips
Hmm.
screwdriver, but it's got these three wings or three legs
Hmm.
on it.
I have a box of them
Yeah,
and a box of the
and
bits. Yeah.
they were all over L1011s. I mean, just all over these L1011s, and basically you would, you'd start to drive it out or in, and either the tool would snap or the bolt would break.
Hmm.
So then once you get it out, you had to put it back. You had to put another tri-wing back in there,
Hmm.
and we figured out it was had to be somebody's brother-in-law who designed this thing. That
Yeah.
Lockheed says,
I
"Oh,
got
we're
to
looking
get the
for a contract.
Yep.
Make something stupid, and we'll put it on the plane." Okay,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I got a box full of bits and some of the screws, and then most of them are like that long, but they're skinny little things.
yeah,
It's just like you look at them funny, they'll snap.
yeah. Um, Oh, Doyle says you could use the tailgate for a backrest for a porch swing. That's a
Yeah.
good plan. That's a good plan. It may happen. Ray says, saying goodnight to Hooked. Okay, so we lost.
Oh yeah, she's over in England.
Oh, Simone.
Yeah.
Okay. And Aaron, Nintendo also likes to use tri-wing screws, but much smaller in scale. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, well, it's like you had a Phillips,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then you also have Reed and Prince. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't know that there's two different versions of the four post Phillips.
And then to make it more complicated, you got JIS,
Okay.
the Japanese standard for it is it looks like Phillips, but it's not Phillips. So
Okay.
like when you're working on Japanese cars or especially motorcycles, it looks like a Phillips, and a Phillips bit kind of fits really sloppy in it because it's not a Phillips. It was a Japanese industry standard.
Okay.
It looks like a Phillips, but it's not cut the same way.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
you just,
Well,
I don't care what we pick. Just pick
and
one.
yeah, and the Reed and Prince is pointier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, when I was doing the Model A, I can't tell you every screw in it was a flathead screw, just a flathead screw.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back on that and thinking about putting that together on the assembly line, because you had to be good with a flathead screw, otherwise you'll slide out of
yeah.
it or lose your whatever. So those guys had to be really good using
Well,
those tools.
and there's that whole story about Robertson trying to sell screws to Ford, and they didn't want to buy them because they'd had a bad investor at some point in time, and something went wrong. Something went bad in the past, and that's why they didn't, do a contract with them to buy their screws instead of flathead. Which it sure would have been nice if they did, because we'd probably be using Robertson's, square drive screws on most everything today, if that had changed.
Yeah. Well, what I found too is when I'm building something out of wood, and I've used the Phillips
Mm-hmm.
to try. You try to drive it. Now it's frustrating. You're trying to drive a screw with Phillips head on it, and you either strip out the head or you shatter the bit.
Mm-hmm.
But those other ones where it's got like the six points or whatever, I don't know what they call them, torque style. Man, you can drive those things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're saying with a square bit, but I've used those other ones where they have like the Torx, thing.
The SPAC screws, and they even come with a driver bit in them that has a little button on the end of it too. And you can just put the screw on there and it just holds on there.
Yeah.
So you can reach up, and, put a screw in, and you don't have to hold it.
Yep.
They're expensive, but they work.
Yeah. Michael saying GM dash and HVAC systems 5.5 millimeter bolts. Yep. Yep. Nick, it's a pro touring car. I need to be a jack of all trades. That's why I went with the 4-link.
Yeah.
Drag, road, course, autocross, cruising, torque arm suspension is great for road course stuff. Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun car. I'm looking forward to seeing it all together, Nick. I know that much.
And video of it going down the track.
Rick, Ford used 5.5 millimeter screws to hold the TFI. I got modules.
Ignition modules.
Yeah, ignition modules. Okay, yeah. And ignition.
Right.
Sorry,
I remember changing a bunch of those out at one time.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. And the thing with a lot of the newer style Ford stuff was they can't use a 1/2-inch bolt in a hole. They have to use a inch long bolt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's because of engineering, like on the assembly line, it's easier to guide that thing in or what. But some of that stuff, come on, you cut this bolt in half.
Oh yeah, and in some of it, you're holding this little thin piece of plastic on, but we need a 5/8 bolt to do it.
Yeah.
Why? We're holding. The bolt weighs more than the thing we're holding on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always the thing at the body shop trying to work on Ford stuff. It was like 5.5 millimeter they've got a thread on this long, and it's holding half a piece of grill on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no reason for that. And of course, you do something with a German car, Mercedes or BMW or whatever, and there's 500 components to make the bumper cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? What are you doing?
Then you got Volkswagens now that you got to have triple square hard, it's not it looks kind of like a Torx, but it's a triple square. Yeah, and it's more special stuff to have that. Why? You know, I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
It just makes the tool companies money.
Oh yes, exactly. Shopcat. Good evening, folks. Tried to test ride my sled tonight, but I flooded it instead and ran out of time. Darn it. Yep. No fun. Lawrence. I spent 45 years at Boeing in manufacturing inspection and engineering are a rare breed. Then you put management in the mix, and all hell could break loose. Yeah. Rick, I wish engineers would have to work on whatever they design. Yeah, unfortunately, they never turn a wrench on it. So,
but all the engineers that I've known and met wouldn't know how to work on anything anyway.
no,
They wouldn't have a clue.
nope, not a chance, not a chance. And I just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like there's some cars out there you got to pull the intake manifold to get to the starter. Like I
Yeah.
think it's Nissan or something.
Toyota V8s are that way.
Okay, you
And,
got to pull the
well,
intake manifold to get to the starter.
The North Star V8s were that way too.
Yeah,
There's a few others. Yeah.
yeah. And what's the point?
It better be a hell of a starter.
Well, yeah. And I don't know if they're just trying to reduce the footprint, on the exterior, trying to hide.
I think it is. They just
if
run
we
out
get rid of the
room.
starter here, we can put the rack and pinion there, or something. I don't know.
It's got to be. It has to be. Or they'll say, "Oh, it's done because it's quieter." That'll be
there you go.
it's
Yeah.
a feature.
Aaron says, like working on an Audi Step 1, remove front of car. That's pretty accurate. Shopcat saying, Rick, I did meet one Russian engineer that would, but his staff felt insulted if he told them to. That would work on his own. So I guess.
I guess engineer have to work on whatever they design.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Roger, I work with a few very rare engineers that can work on stuff, but I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. Yeah, they're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
They're few and far between. And Rick says, especially in the auto industry, things are made to be assembled, not worked on. That is a very accurate statement. Very accurate statement.
But it's like I remember doing some. Remember the Isuzu Impulse when those things were around, and I remember working on those things brand new, and the expansion valves were really bad about going out on those things on the air conditioning, and those were some of the first cars that you had to pull the seats, pull the dash, pull that entire unit out from underneath the dash to get to it. That was some of the first cars that you had to do that in, because it was right up against the firewall, to the outside, and then it was it wasn't the $15 expansion valve like it was for an American car. No, it was like $180 expansion valve.
Yeah.
And it was, and they didn't last any longer. It would still last for a couple more years, and then they would, the gas out of the little bulb would leak or something.
Well, it's like my son has his 03 Toyota Camry, the one I've done several videos on. I did the video on the head on it and stuff like that. The air conditioning quit working several years ago, and I can't fix it. He took it to a shop, and they said, yeah, we know what it is. It'll be $2,000 to fix it. Something about, again, you had to get under the dash, pull it all apart, and get the thing.
It's probably expansion valve. Yeah.
He's like, I'll just keep the windows open.
Well, but that's, a lot of cars are that way now, that, if you've got anything to work on under there, you've got to take that whole unit out to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
let's see.
Fun.
Okay. So hold on, Ed, all have a great night and hit the thumbs up. Yes. Thank you, Ed. Glad you were here. Shopcat. Oh man, changing the coolant booster pump on a new Flyer Excelsior bus. They obviously installed it, then put in the motor and trans.
Oh,
that doesn't sound fun. It's like, think about this. I was watching Jay Leno, a video on Jay Leno. I forget what exactly the car was he was working on. He's got so many, and one of the things they had, it was an old car. And on the side, like the Model A has a step, and then it has a filler panel that comes up, and then the body goes above that. And this car had either one or two batteries in it, and they had little doors on that section. And you could drop the doors, and if I remember correctly, it had like a latch. You could unlatch it and slide the battery out on rollers, like on a track. So you could take the battery out and put in a new battery, and the cables, everything moved with it. And I was like, oh, that's so genius.
Because those are probably 6-volt batteries, I would bet.
I don't remember, but it was just amazing to see it. You know,
but back
then people were thinking.
Yeah, but back then you also was like, well, you had to put water in your battery all the time too.
Well, see, and that's what it was, the maintenance schedules and stuff like that. But I think there was one other one I saw, not on his show, but it was I think it was some big bus, some sort of big bus, or a truck or something. I think my brother shared it with me, and it was the same deal. It had the engine, transmission, everything was on a track, and you would like open up the front of the vehicle, and you could like click, 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 grab the whole assembly and slide it out. And I think what it was, the drive shaft was on a mount, like a rigid mount type of drive shaft. So when you pulled it out, it just separated, and you could work on the engine. And slide it back in, and that shaft would line back up and be right on the money.
Well, especially if you're running you got a bus depot. It's like, well, we're just going to, pop your drivetrain off. We'll put a good one on. You're off and running. We'll work on this in the shop. We'll get it ready for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like the Abrams tanks do that too, where the whole drivetrain comes out and they just swap the entire drivetrain.
Okay, so Lawrence says, I started wondering what was going on when they put the fuel pump inside the gas tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got and it's not bad if you have like a little foreign car where you take the back seat out and the gas tank is right there. And you just
and it has a little hatch there and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a truck or something where you got to pull the bed off or drop the tank down, yeah, not so fun.
Yeah, those big truck tanks are not fun, especially if it's full of gas.
Yeah.
And they're huge. They're awkward. Yeah.
Shopcat agrees with Lawrence. Yeah. And so Barry, it was nothing like a Dodge Journey with the battery in the wheel well. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is also I think the Intrepid had the battery up in under the bumper cover. You had to pull the whole bumper cover off, and there's another
thing. The horrible convertible thing. She had one time.
The LeBaron.
No, not the LeBaron. It was the worst car ever made for a number of years. And mine's going blank of what it was. She had one, and she loved it. But
it was a Dodge.
It was a Dodge.
Intrepid? No, not Intrepid.
No, it was the little car, the little Sebring. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
got it right.
Sebring. Yeah.
She had a convertible Sebring, and it had the same kind of battery situation with it too.
Shopcat got Sebring.
Yeah.
Leonard said Plymouth Breeze.
Yeah.
That's in the 80s, I think. But yeah, it could be as well. I don't know.
And then she traded. Then when she got rid of that, she got the PT Cruiser, which, I make fun of them, but I really can't make too much fun of it because it's got 100-something odd thousand miles on it. All I've done is wheel bearings, brakes, a few things that were really garbage parts out of the factory when it was about 30,000 miles. The starter, the wheel bearings, the brakes, and I did everything on the clutch because they had a clutch that didn't release well. And I bought the cheapest stuff on eBay and put all that stuff in there. And that's pretty much all I've really ever done to it, other than the oil pressure switch. I did have to replace one wheel bearing again because that was at 40,000 and it's got 100 and something. So that my eBay parts lasted longer than the factory parts.
Yeah.
And as much as I complain about it, it's really been a pretty reliable car.
Okay.
Cam sensor goes bad every so often, but other than that, it goes.
The little Mazda 3 that my son had, the only maintenance I ever did to that car, now we bought it, it had 200,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And the only thing I ever replaced on it was the front brake pads and one belt tensioner.
Mm.
The roller died.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only maintenance I ever did on that car. And he just kept driving it, you know.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he bought another car and I sold it, but that's all we ever did to that car. And other than my son's Toyota having the
The
head
engine
gasket fail at 200,000,
Oh.
the head bolts pull, I put one wheel bearing on that and brake pads. That's it.
Yeah, my parents have got or my mom has a Corolla. She's got a Corolla. The thing's got 120,000 miles, I think, on it. I think something in that range. And to be honest, if you look at it, other than where a teacher ran into the bumper in the corner, put a big dent in the rubber bumper in the back,
Yeah.
it looks like a brand new car inside and out. It drives like a brand new car. It's had a battery. That's it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has not had anything else done to it. I mean, that's it. And they bought it used with I forget how many miles on it, and it still had the plastic on the carpet in the back.
Oh, wow.
So nobody ever even sat in the back seat. It still had all the the factory stuff on there that and it's like I said, inside and out, underneath, it still looks like a brand new car.
Yeah.
Really.
Rick says at one point I got really good at pulling the dash out of a Lincoln MK7 to replace the evaporator core. I was doing one about every other week. Yeah, once you start doing them all the time, then yeah, it's not so bad. Say I got to pull that screw, this clip, that screw, and Leonard, my 700 Ranchero, the heater core was out in the engine bay and 4 metal screws, and out it came. Yeah, see, that was a good design. Shopcat, bury that motor on track sounds like military style too. RG3 ones are like that. 3 good guys would change the power pack on LAV3 in 20 minutes in and out the door. I believe it. I believe it. They have to have stuff running. You can't wait for things to happen when you're doing military stuff. Michael, I had to do a heater core on an 18 Ford Escape, 22 hours. You have to remove both doors to get the dash out. Okay. That definitely sounds like a Ford thing.
Well, it's I'll complain about GM. It's like the GMG bodies, El Caminos, Monte Carlos, Malibus. They had that massive HVAC box sticking out into the engine compartment. So when you had to do the heater core, you had to pull the trim off the bottom and the big cover off of it. And it was all glued and stuck down, and that wasn't fun either. That was a pain in the butt. It could have been worse. You could be pulling out the dash, but it still wasn't fun. It was a tight spot to work in, and the plastic would break, and yeah.
So Lawrence is heading out to get a T-bone. Okay,
Ooh.
Rub it in.
I can afford the T-bone, but not the gas to get there.
Yeah, Bob, Sebring convertible used different parts than a sedan. I believe it. And Ty says, I want to thank you and say I look forward to your review. Have a great night. Okay. Yeah, Ty has sent me some pictures of what he's working on, so I'll have to look that over and give him some insight, help him get that together. Anyway, yeah, there's all kinds of things that could be improved upon for sure in any of these vehicles. It's kind of like the even electric cars they're talking about, the battery packs. There was one, I don't know if it was one company or was trying to design something to where you could drive to point B, pull into the service center, and they would just drop the whole battery pack out, put in another one in.
Tesla talked about that in the very beginning. They wanted to do that, where they'd have this, you drive in like a car wash and it would come underneath and unbolt it and pop it off. I think it's a great idea, but I can see some, issues with, making it happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to have the batteries have to fit everything, and then, of course, the idea of charging those batteries, having everything, the infrastructure. If you have 1,000 vehicles a day coming into your area, do you have enough to change out 1,000 batteries?
Because I'm thinking of it like a big vending machine.
Yeah.
Where you drive in, it pops it off, and then it's got to put it somewhere and charge it while it's putting a charged one in yours, and it's got to have enough to supply
unknown.
What's it going to need? A couple hundred
Yeah.
of them there? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
but like I
know,
said, it sounds like a great idea.
yeah. And was it Formula E that does the thing where they just have when they take the batteries out, they just like slide out the side of the car?
Probably. I don't know.
I
I haven't
remember
seen that.
it's been a couple of years since I've seen those cars, so it
Yeah.
may have changed.
Let's see. Ray Buckman. Guys, got to run. My turn to make dinner. Well, every day is my day to make dinner. Robert, keep up the great videos. You also, Don, today's were great. Looking forward to the videos, Barry of Camaro. Yes.
Well,
Yeah, those will be coming pretty soon.
yeah, and don't feel bad. I got to make dinner every night too. I'm the one that cooks.
Oh, well.
So she's out of town, so I had bacon, eggs, and waffles.
Okay. Well, I had kibasi or
Oh,
kielbasa, however you want to say it. Just had a couple hot dog buns, some kielbasa and some cheese, ketchup, mustard. Good to go.
we I wish we had some Czech bakeries near us. We've got to go south to find any good Czech bakeries.
Oh, Czechoslovakian?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of a lot of Czechoslovakian people that moved here years ago. So down in West Texas, that's where that big fertilizer plant went boom years ago.
Okay, yeah.
There's a couple places you can go, bakeries that are there. They got pretty good stuff. Up to our good bit to our north is a lot of Germans up in Munster, and yeah, you get up to either one of those, you find some good bakeries and good sausage and lots of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Don, he started saying battery swap and Israel company, but then it says better place. So I'm not sure what that is, but I'll take your word for it. Ray Buckman, waffles, great stuff. Yeah.
Oh, they were frozen, so
Oh, frozen waffles.
they were Eggos, okay, but they were these salted caramel ones that they had at Sam's.
Oh, that sounds healthy.
So they sounded really good. They said limited time, item. So it's like we got to try those.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you to make something
Uh-oh.
because you're cooking
Okay.
now. Since we're on food, we're gonna talk about food for a minute. Yeah, when we moved here to Atlanta area, we heard about them saying chicken and waffles. Okay. Now,
I've never heard of that until a few years ago.
well, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a popular thing here in the South, I guess, in Georgia.
Uh-huh.
Well, chicken and waffles mean something different to me and my wife than it does to the people here.
Okay.
Chicken and waffles literally is like fried chicken
Mm-hmm.
and a regular waffle. Like you put butter and syrup on.
Mm-hmm.
I would not put those two together in my mind as a meal. And I still don't.
either.
And I still don't. But what we make, if we say chicken and waffles, you can make this. Get some, you cook up some chicken,
Uh-huh.
shred it, put it in a gravy. Okay?
Okay.
So you got chicken gravy, right? Then you make your waffle. Don't buy a frozen one, make a waffle.
Mm-hmm.
And ladle out gravy and chicken on that waffle.
Hmm.
Try that. Now, if you've had roast beef, like a open-faced roast beef sandwich,
Mhm.
or let's say an open-faced chicken gravy
Uh-huh.
sandwich kind of thing, same thing, but it's with a waffle.
Or you could also do it with barbecue chicken.
I'm not that big a fan of that barbecue. I don't want to see barbecue on a waffle, but the gravy works. So
May have to try that.
try that sometime.
I do
It's
have
good.
a waffle maker. I do have
It
an
is
actual
really
waffle maker.
good. It is surprisingly really good. Shopcat says he just noticed he's at 251 subs. That's 6 just today. Woohoo. Gotta go put my best mechanic to bed. Cheers all. I made a beef stir fry for supper. That sounds good.
Nice.
So congrats on 251 subs.
Yeah.
Leonard, have you ever seen the first electric truck? Wow. You talking about the Rivian or whatever? Or are you talking about the Tesla? Or are you talking about the one from like 1918?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
they had
what
electric
I think.
trucks back then.
I think the big monster delivery trucks that they used to have, with batteries underneath it, and that's what I think of. Is like, what was this, like late 1800s or something?
Yeah, they had some old electric stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure which one he's talking about because the Tesla is coming out with an electric truck supposedly. They have another one called the Rivian, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's, but
And
the old
Ford,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, and Ford has theirs now, and then GM's coming out with theirs. I like the way Chrysler's going though. They're going to do theirs as a hybrid.
Okay.
They're going to do, instead of being straight electric, it'll be a hybrid. Which, for if you're going to use it as a contractor truck and really use it as a work truck, the hybrid makes more sense, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Dawn says name of company was Better Place for battery swap stations. Okay. Thank you, Dawn.
I have to look into that.
Leonard says, what? No sausage and biscuits? You can do that. Another item to put on your drive-through menu. Yeah. Oh, and Leonard says 1918.
Mm.
I guessed that. I guessed 1918. I did not know. I just said 1918. I get a bell for winning that. Aaron says, but it still will be a Chrysler with a TIPM and all the electrical gremlins. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably so.
And my grandfather worked for them at the stamping plant many years ago. The one that the 8 Mile movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that plant there. My grandfather worked there
Oh, okay.
many years ago, and they lived on the street, like one street over from the building at the time.
Oh,
Not a good place,
interesting.
not a good place even when my dad was a kid.
Yeah, I'll bet. Okay. I'm getting ready to go in the house.
Yep.
I've got to get some other food in me, some
All right.
snacks.
I will see you later.
But
See
I
everybody else
appreciate
later.
you being on here and showing your car and of course the saw or the Bauer tool. So now I have to go find one
And
somewhere.
it really does work well.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking about the heat from it. I mean, if you were sitting in one spot, it will get hot. But it's like anything else. You don't want to stay in one spot too long. You keep moving around. You don't push hard. Let
Right.
the tool do it.
Yeah, let the tool do the
Yeah.
work, but not
And
not
it's
be
not
too
really
aggressive
an
with it.
issue. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will see you guys later.
All right. Thanks for being here. Okay. So that'll be we're ending the show, ending the live stream. I look forward to putting up some more videos soon on this car. Do overview on it and talk about what the plans are. So look forward to sharing that with you. I probably have some other videos that I need to edit and put on the channel. I did put a video on the Joe Daddy's Workshop channel for the metal rack that I made. If you want to check that out, that would be great. And same thing. Leave a comment, thumbs up, all that on there, and help out the channel as much as you can by doing that. So let me see where we're at. Yeah. Okay. That'll be it. Again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.